Hello, my learned friends. If you missed the last episode, it was something. Yeah, so my best friend is not dead. Apparently he's had amnesia this whole time. And I really hope that in this next case, which is episode 4 of the second game, welcome if you are new here, I'm not okay. You OGs know that I record these in advance, and it has been a couple of weeks because I had to recover from that. Also, I was so upset that I completely made, it was indeed a most bizarre incident born of a curious advertisement and a commonplace killing at the edge of town. Anyway, alright, well now we're going to listen to whoever this is.
Fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said.
That's a lot of redheads.
A most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement.
Bizarre incident, they're all redheads.
A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder.
You know the Weasley family?
Man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night.
The Weasley family would never happen. The odds of that?
And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant.
Someone died in London? That's crazy.
And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
I say that a lot. Anyway, last time I got so upset, I went back and watched the video that you'll see came out. It'll come out a week before now, and yeah, it completely froze up, and it didn't look like that when I was watching it. Yeah, that's what happened last time. I would say go back and watch it, but yeah, my computer completely froze up. I'll still I uploaded it because I might as well, but I'm not okay. Anyway, 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Katsuma regaining his memory. Also, his dad's a serial killer, and because of that, that's why Van Gogh, that's why he hates, an entire race. We were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Waterloo. Professor Mikitoba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. Oh yeah, her dad's coming. Susato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. I haven't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Katsuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer? The professor, you mean? I knew that was what she was thinking about. What else would we be thinking about? It's been a week? There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. I feel like this is loud. Hold on. Maybe just down a bit. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikitoba knew about Katsuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? Yeah, there's some sketchy stuff going on. There we go. That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows then. Y'all, I think my theory was wrong about Katsuma planning this whole thing, so he wouldn't have to be a lawyer. About Katsuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. Can we talk to Katsuma? Ah, there she is. Oh. Oh, father. Hello, Susato. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, sir. Hello, Mr. Naruto. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man, and why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Shishiro? A firm tap should do it. I've heard that name before. Oh, he's the judge!
Yes.
A firm tap? What? Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty! Oh! You're... The judge has a personality in this one? What? That's crazy. Don't show me Katsuma like that. He did look very different. The court will now hear the trial, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I gotta get my judge voice. Your Excellency. Hello, Judge Jikoku? Jikoku? How are you? It's been a long time. Good, you've remembered now. I really did the trick. They all had the same judge voice. Guilty! Is he gonna get killed? I have a bad feeling. Only I was declared guilty. I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. I think he's gonna get killed. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I forgot what her father's voice was. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Shishiro? Shishiro. What are you talking about, Yujin? Of course, Judge Shikoku. He must complete the set. Or maybe he'll be accused of the crime. He's the other man who, 16 years ago, came to London with Katsuma's father and Father Mikitoba. I did not say that right. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all these passports checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministry. You can't get mad at me for not being able to pronounce the Japanese when I can't even read in English. Just saying. Status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ha! I knew you were jealous. Yeah, you're dying. Sorry? Ministerial status? Yes, did you know? Didn't you know Sashiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs? It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Katsuma's place here on this study tour. Guilty as charged! Stop! Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Ah, yes. Now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. Yes! About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Yes. Could you tell us any more about it? Apparently not. The computer said no. We're gonna freeze up. I am gonna get a nice computer. One day. When I'm monetized. So how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris? We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Sashiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I cannot speak. Anyway, do I have... Make sure it's all the way right. Okay. I'm sure that's why he was involved. I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Jujin. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Katsuma's father, I suppose. They both look up at me. Hello. Yeah, let's talk about that. The professor. Let's see. Oh, shoot. Was actually Katsuma's father, wasn't he? Go away now. That's correct. Genshin Asugi. Genshin? Like Genshin Impact? Genshin? You knew, I presume, father. Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. But what about Katsuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? I just said it in his voice. No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Oh? Why? As you know, I tried to guide Katsuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day he came to my office at the university and said, he would have figured it out. I decided I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. I try to make him sound very anime. Sorry, very anime job. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? That makes sense. I don't know. When I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Susuro. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh, what? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Katsuma's since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks. What? Did he not know? What? That's news to us. So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. They didn't know? I mean, I guess they wouldn't know about that, but they didn't know he was alive? As you know, we both thought Katsuma died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, father? See, did he know he was alive? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive, and here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Well, it seems he was suffering from amnesia. I hate that so much. You have no idea how much I hate that. What? Amnesia? When we first came across him here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. I agree. Oh, it froze. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. One of you two is gonna die. I wonder how Katsuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? No, it would not be wrong. We need to talk to this man. I don't care about their time in Britain. I want to go see Katsuma. That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugenier, Genshin Asugi, and myself, who were the original three. The first traditional scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time. Yume. You know, young lady. Yeah. Yes, grandmother told me. He went to do research at a Great London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Ugh, not more talk of graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, the autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. My question is, why did Herlock Sholmes lie to us about him being alive? And why did they accuse me of the murder? You remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden was his name was. He was a good man. Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing and tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after that trial, we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. Call this crazy? What if he didn't do it? What if he didn't do it? I'm throwing my prediction in there. Anyway. Maybe he took the raps for somebody. But he also got executed. So that's really tragic. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up for so long. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. Can I see Katsume yet? Please, let me see. Susuno-san's gone off at a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a very big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruhodo. What? I hope you'll keep an eye on Susuno for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Of course! She's my pride and joy. Oh no! I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Can they be closer in age? I was shipping them so hard, and then I found out she was 16, so I had to stop. Because that's not healthy. And we're not doing a circus one again with the 16-year-old dating the 25-year-old. Well, I do appreciate being here there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? What doesn't he mean? Yeah, he's let her down. Are you kidding me? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour in Britain, as you know. The very year Susuno was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... Well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event in my life, too. Oh, yes, Susuno-san hinted at something like that. Her mother dying? Gadar. It was a rather turbulent time at home. As her mother died. Right? Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. Please bore me with the details. The point is, I've become rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Sashiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I didn't know you were still here. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. One other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm so sorry that took so long. Ugh! Mr. Sato, now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, porter. Of course, sir. Who? I recognize you. That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay in the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we should just... He's gonna get killed. No, don't kill off her dad. Why else would they take a photo? What if he gets killed and they accuse the judge? Okay. Ah, yes, of course. Oh, no. They're gonna kill him off, aren't they? I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. One of those two is dying and the other one's getting accused of the murder. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotomo was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. I really like her. Like, I thought I liked Maya, but she might have passed up Maya as my favorite little sidekick. Yes, let's go. I'm getting more and more anxious about Katsuma, though. Can we go see him? Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. Can I go now? I want to... No, I don't want to go there. I want to see... Katsuma! I want to see my best friend! Have we not seen him for 8 days? Like, what? What are we doing here? Hello, tall, dark, and handsome. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. I forgot his voice again. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zeeks doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say? Oh, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, if you did miss everything up till now, they put Katsuma in a mask and made him the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks, when, as of now, but I still think he didn't do it, but as of now, we believe that Katsuma's father killed Van Zeek's brother. So that was a choice. This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. Hello! My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. Okay. Oh, no. It's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure! Stop letting them walk all over you. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. I'd go for red. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I'm right here. Ugh, kill me now. He's such a mood. Is something wrong? It's perhaps a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. He's gonna be like the final boss. He's been sketchy this whole time. In fact, he's got Van Karma energy. Your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madame. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Van Zeeks. That is not a happy man with purple hair right there. I will attend at once. I'm surprised he didn't retire. Don't look at me like that. It's not my fault. It's not my fault, okay? He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? Well, yeah, I'm best friends with the son of the man who killed his brother. Allegedly. I'm calling it. I know, but I haven't done anything, have I? You exist, that's enough. These past 2 days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe. Oh, of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Sai's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Van Zieks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though, disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh, missing? What's become of Katsuma-sama now? What if he gets accused? Yo, I'm just mentally preparing myself. I don't trust this game at all. I just want to talk about... Okay, we'll start. I've learned my lesson. You go in order. Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? Oh, you precious thing. As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million. I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. It sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of the forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark first symposium has to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. Ugh, I don't care. I just want to talk about Katsuma. Katsuma-sama, please. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of chasing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Well, no, you found that his apprentice murdered a man. Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. Alright! Katsuma, please. About Lord Van Zieks' apprentice. Ah, yes. That came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place? It came about 5 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my! So he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact that he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks, that way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh. I take it you also didn't know that the man's father was one of the country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshinosagi. Now we're getting somewhere. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... Ah, yes, Genshinosagi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. They were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. I didn't know that! Did we know that? And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat unironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. He was a vigilante. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. Interesting. Just making sure no one's hiding in the corners. Alright, we're good here. I think we're out of things to talk about. Let's double check. Is there anything I can present? Probably not, because we're on a fresh case. Yep. Alright, let's move to... We gotta go yell at Sholmes. Yeah, we're gonna go yell at Sholmes, because he didn't tell us about Katsuma being alive. That jerk. One of the best characters, too, and he's kind of being a scumbag right now. November 1st. I don't know how to pronounce that. What was that? A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not. Who are you? What are the redheads doing in here? Why is there a shoe on that mirror? Hey! Don't do it anymore! Mon ami. Which country are you from? I don't know. I can't do this anymore. Stop this disgraceful display, huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair. It's bright red. That's what I was saying. We're anti-redheads here, I guess. Katsuma. Not Katsuma. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two, you're coming with me now. Down to the clink. No, not in prison. It's dark and damp. I don't like it. Muff, the darkness. It is my friend. I am not scared. But you are always scared in the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. I don't like this. I don't like it. Well, tough. One finished out of the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Jenny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. Yeah, Sholmes, we got some beef with you. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? I love what they've done with her character. You know, the amnesia plot aside. Oh, Susie and Bruno. Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, We arrived in the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Can we? Her dad is dead. Why can't we tell her? All right. Yes, of course. This is just cruel. Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man. What the heck did you do to your hair? No! He dyed his eyebrows too! But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea in order. Don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today? That's what I'm saying. In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I'm in fact expecting a guest later today. Alright, sir. We got some... Yeah, I'm sorry. We're starting with the lie. I need to... Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? I usually don't skip ahead, but I'm sorry. Just over a week ago, you said to us... I'm so mad at him. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. That's not helpful. That's not helpful! Turd. That case aboard the SS Burr in January. Katsuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. And then you accused me of murdering him. So what was really going on? Are we just leaving that part out? That he accused me of the murder that didn't exist? Okay. Sholmes? I swear, the fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. But why? Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. I'm done. I quit. What do you mean? But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh! I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Did he not lose his memory? Because that would make me so happy if he was faking it this whole time. Although he would have definitely not have pretended not to know who we were. Maybe. Mr. Sholmes. We're not gonna talk about this? Okay, fine. Tell me about your two visitors. I don't care. Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have made a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye. To all manner of infractions. When the mood takes you. All manner of infractions. But When such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes? But I quickly devised a plan to entrap him and deliver them to a young lady detective ally. You should have asked Grexy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha, I have it! A bungler, that's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads have been up to no good? I wonder what the men did. What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? Why did I make her sound 9 years old? Okay. How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere, possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. 40 years ago? When did this game take place again? According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops. Wait, what? We were apes? My reaction, precisely. Mr. Ryunosuke. Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopies to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why, is it not obvious, my dear madame? The problem of rent! What? Huh. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspels only the other day? Ha! Psha! A large sum. One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. Honestly, Arlie, you know you squandered it. Yes, well anyway, 2 days ago. I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes. Don't tell me. Let me see. Humans are sorry creatures unable to see what is in front of their noses. It has something to do with the hair. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There is one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. In the end? It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of their conversation. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer. Am I supposed to click on it? What am I supposed to do? Is there a thing of hair dye or something? Okay, I don't want to waste my time clicking on things. Nothing else? Alright. Bye, redhead. I'm mad at you. Okay, so I guess I'm supposed to observe something. I'm supposed to examine something, maybe? Okay, what's this mask? The mask costs... Oh! What is that doing here? When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. Oh. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? Well, he was my best friend. I finally managed to remember this The great analytoscope? I don't know what I just read. I don't think it was here when I left for Japan, was it? Oh, is that right? Yes, because it was with the pawnbroker. Ah, of course. Oh, that's giving me a wonderful idea. I could pawn everything that's on your desk. The office would be tidy at last. Don't even joke about it, Miss Susato. You are joking, aren't you? What in here do I need to observe here? I'm looking. Oh, newspaper? This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circled in red ink there? It's an advertisement column. It says, to the Red-Headed League. What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but it's something on my face. Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair. Yeah, okay. What is this going to contribute later in our conversations? Ah, yes. We can't leave the apartment until we present this article because we can't just ask him about the hair upright. Stupid. This is so stupid. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way? Red. I didn't even know. I just got lucky. I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. Should I go bright red, guys? So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruto. Sorry? In the first instance, and quite indispensable observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you've circled? You noticed it in the paper then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition of becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week. But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement. But surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put my application at once. So will I. Just on the off chance. That might be stretching a point, I think. The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see. Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. So you decided to try to join in his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruto, though it pains me to admit it. What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Miss Susato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight, by the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one hair a flame-like red. Would you like to try it? It would make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass. But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? All amateurs are always hampered by such fears. Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. Do you mean to say? But of course! To earn £4 a week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Early left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members. So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk, like a coaster's orange barrel. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front, but when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." There we go. It's having issues. My board was crooked. After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that parrot into the police. Oh dear, what a disaster for Early and those two redheads. Poor babies. Poor babies. Hello? Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client with money to spend. Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Harley. Remember, Iris, we are at the present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you? Oh dear, I'm afraid that Early can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due. What was that? Mr. Sholmes, please, oh please. Weren't you in the jury? Please find my husband, he's run away. To upset me. I beg your pardon? Never mind, a personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Nanowrimo? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madame, to be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please. Of course. What's the matter, Miss Susano? Susano? I don't know. Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before, very recently. Yes, now you come to mention it. As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure. Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madame. Being offered a case to solve is a reward enough. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're the picture of benevolence. I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also. If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be... Oh, me? What am I about to tell you? I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand. These are my friends. I assure you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me. Ah, I see. I can vouch for the gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Alright. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my! My dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. Bruh. man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. I called it. You can't get past me. I was in hyper-focus that trial. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting all so differently now. It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer. Being hard of hearing, I mean. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was a frippery, really, nothing more. Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Tell us about your husband, madame. Mr. Vigil, my daily, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. How long have you been married? It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably. As it would appear. I need only look at you to know these things. Oh gosh. Your dress is the latest style. Your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has been embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, I didn't like how his eyes opened there. That is exactly what I fear may have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. A guard? That is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warder. That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder. Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out. Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments? And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to our neighbors. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really? Barclay? How a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there's a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery. No. Lowgate Cemetery? That's the very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes. I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madame. Pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday. I'm sorry, yesterday? That really is recent. Laughably so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night. But this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day. That has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever can have happened? My dear Miss Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police? Why, naturally, but sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for one day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Miss Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. You seek only to put this suite's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. That's crazy. Thank you for everything you've shared with us, Miss Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir. Fear not, madame. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure. So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. He's probably a redhead. Thank you now. Allow me to show you the door. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. You know, I think it every time, Harley. But how do you come up with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two. Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course. But then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hoped to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, I shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that. Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery. Suspicious. Lowgate Cemetery is the rear of Barclay Prison, so it was renowned among the students of the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. Anyway, Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated. Professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, would you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with his hair! But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was a quite different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Of course you are. Are you kidding me? Okay, so now we have to go to the prison. Yeah. You're excited about it? I'm not excited. I don't want to go back here. This place is scary. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its four high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Whoa. Okay. This place is full of hardened criminals. I can remember the last time a civilian was down here. And you, didn't I want to talk to an inmate? Not... but to me. I don't know how to voice you, sir. Do you care who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caden. Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruto, defense lawyer. And an Easter, I see. Does that mean? Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes. Well, I mean, there's no one of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, we came to ask... I didn't like to be so direct, but... I had no intention of speaking with the lax of you suspicious-looking Easterners. Great. Great. Okay. Just as soon as Van Zeke starts leaving us alone, we're stuck with this dude. Turn around and face me like a man. Now get out of my hair. Get out of my hair. Oot. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means... I think it's because of the professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshinosuke, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave at the cemetery behind the prison. Oh, no! You sniffing around to boot this case, aren't ya? Yeah, agent's egg, part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get going with ya, before I punch you like so. We're going. Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not going to get anywhere here. Unless we can somehow prove this to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Caden. What are you thinking, Mrs. Soto? I feel sure the name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. That's Professor Mikitoba over there. Oh, hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. But where's Judge Jikoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived in the country today, goodness, he's full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before. About how you'd known the prison governor at Barclay Prison. Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man. Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. I'm not surprised anymore. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful, if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Reading the newspaper? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, I have a rather lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikitobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that you Narutos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts? I love her. Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Thank you. Here we go. Good luck, then. Thanks. Let me make sure we didn't miss anything. Okay. We're gonna try. Hello, sir. Gosh. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's this then? You could have pulled the wool over my eyes, you good for nothing Japanese student. Mikitoba. Did he have?
That young jock from the forensics laboratory. That Mickey Tober?
Yes, exactly. Him. Oh dear. Perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yuja Mikitopa's daughter, Susano.
Jinx! You're the young man's daughter? And you did not think to mention that before?
I do apologize.
Aye, well, you'd best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And do not forget to try one of these wee ankles.
Something. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
So, then, what can I do for you, Anne?
Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing.
Missing?
That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor.
I've not heard of nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison.
Oh, but how can that be? It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder?
Eh? Vigil?
What do you mean, Vigil? That's right, his wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir? Of course. I didn't. I lost it. I can't. There's too many accents, guys. There's too many. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison.
Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility, dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. It was a fine warder.
Sorry, did you say was?
Aye, he does not work here no more. He left the job.
Oh my! When was this exactly?
There's a question. When was it about? I cannot have much less than 10 years ago now.
What?
What?
10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago?
Aye, as I mind it, Deacon. I haven't heard the fellow's name in all that time. I saw why he's gone missing though.
But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruto, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here?
That's important, is it?
Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? I can't help but wondering, given that it was 10 years ago, which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. I'm clicking so fast. So, Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of chief warder 10 years ago, you're telling us. What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he did not leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter.
You mean he was dismissed? Turn around and talk to me.
It was after a particular walk.
Sorry, a walk?
Aye, that's her word for it, and here, a walk to the gallows. An execution. It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and overseeing executions, you see. Only, Vigil did something unthinkable on the last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal the information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of his post.
But why would Mrs. Vigil know? Wouldn't she know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here.
I wouldn't know nothing about it, I'm afraid.
I can't do his accent.
Aye.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
And what would that be, Anne?
That vast execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's?
My thoughts exactly. Exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm not at liberty to answer that.
I see. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with it and one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research, do you kin? Yes, I can imagine.
The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of St. Sinners. It's still in use today. St. Sinners, that came up before too.
Yes, that's right. We've been there.
Make it Tobo and I have to use the ride and carriage together and negotiate terms. For more fresh material, I suppose. Aye, and we used to sit near for hours and gab on about the dissection and all sorts. Arch, it takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cruff biscuits, of course.
How charming.
That's not the word I would use. He's a good fellow, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin, I suppose.
You've had how many murderers in London? One Japanese guy does the same thing and you're like,
that's 100% how it worked. But, like, why? Well.
You guys are the murder capital of the world.
Okay? I can't tell you anything else.
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one moment before you're away, Ed. I'm sure I have it here somewhere.
What is that clock?
Ah, found it. Here, take these wee souvenir your visit to the prison.
What is it?
That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old. Now, of course.
Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original mind.
Thank you very much, Governor Caden.
Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. The case is closed.
Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being.
Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Shulms with what we found out about Mr. Vigil. What will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? Oh, I have to move. I want to... Hold on. Chief, relieved of his post. Clause 132. All rights to to pay the benefits are fully revoked. Reason for aiding and abetting the escape of this prisoner convict. Blank. Just prior to his executions. Details escaping investigated. Full cooperation with clear as we expected.
Because he didn't do it. I'm telling ya. He didn't do it.
Indications are that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he's guilty, man. I think this entire case is a misunderstanding. La 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 la. Alright, November 1st, Shulm Sweet. We're back! Hello, you two. Hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all. Oh, that's what the delicious smell is. my dear fellows. What did you do? What did you do? He returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Schultz. Hello, Mr. Schultz. Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out that it has been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. Oh my. Pray, tell me, what of a water friend? Have you garnered some new information? Oh, yes, something very surprising, in fact. Though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest. It most certainly isn't. But still, we discovered that Schultz! Oh, Schultz! Drop everything, Schultz! This is more important. Gina? I cut Adam and Eva. Did they kill off the detective? I swear, no! What happened? Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Mr. Stray, there's no mention of my hair whatsoever. The detective, he's dead! He's dead! No! I swear! It's the boss. What do you mean? The boss he's dead! No! No! I was afraid of that when they mentioned he'd been missing. Oh, I was afraid of that. What? They just found his body shot with a pistol. What? I'm so sad. But Inspector Gregson, he was murdered? No, not Gregsy. Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. I love it when he gets serious. I love his hair still blue. Guys, I'm overstimulated. What the heck? Are they gonna accuse one of the... They better not accuse her father. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson he was really shot? I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there investigating the scene. Where did this take place? A little rented room at the building 4 flats on the Fresno Street. The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then. The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Ginny. I'm so... Why? No! So, who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? Don't you dare say her father. Or the judge. It better not be either of those two. It better not be Katsuma. Guys, they got him already. Already? They've caught the shooter? A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Who? What awful person did this? Guys. I still can't believe it myself. Gina? Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. I have 3 guesses. It was the Reaper? What? 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 Wait a minute. You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zieks for it? That's right. The Reaper's bloke's gone and shot the boss. We're doing this again?
I get to represent him in court?
Wait, does that mean Katsuma's gonna be the... Is Katsuma gonna be the prosecutor?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. No! Lord Van Zeeks?
I didn't think they were gonna do that again. That's crazy. That's crazy, guys. I can't.
I'm shaking.
Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? If Berg Van Zeeks, Van Zeeks, the police have arrested.
Oh, he just broke into the voice.
I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him.
So you mean there was actually multiple witnesses? Is Katsuma going to be the prosecutor? Either him or the boss dude. Oh my gosh, no way!
I heard a gunshot apparently, and when they got to the scene, I was only the boss and the Reaper bloke in the room.
But there's no way Lord Van Zeeks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
We gotta go visit him in prison.
Yo! What? No!
I had 3 guesses and they were all wrong. Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is the most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry.
What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing.
This is so sad. What's gonna happen to Gina?
Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come in all, as soon as you can. You've got to help.
It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes?
What use is there being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming?
Me too. None of my 3 guesses. Okay.
How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson!
Mr. Naruto, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes. We will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to the Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later, then. Inspector Gregson dead and Lord Van Zeeks arrested. Okay, the only reason why, because we did this with Miles Edgeworth, I didn't think they were going to do it with him now too. But it does make sense because then we get to face Katsuma as a prosecutor.
Bruno! Susie! I've called you. Answer! It's waiting outside.
Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Miss Susanna?
Yes.
What in the world? Yeah, we're going to prison.
What in the world? You can't do this to me again.
And you can't even see him in the corner because my face is covering him. Right, here, see? There he is. See? Going back to my corner now. Because, there's only so much I can do. There he is. Lord Van Zeeks behind bars.
So it's true. He really was arrested.
He's sitting there with his back to the wall reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Miss Lord Van Zeeks? Don't look at me like that. I'm glad you guys couldn't see that. Oh, there it is. Fancy meeting you here. I can't believe we're doing this again. We already had to do this with Edgeworth, and now we have to do this with him. The last place on Earth I'd like to be, with the last person on Earth I'd like to see. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened, that Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But
Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading in the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? The Yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with the suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace. So let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Everything! Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. I mean, he is behind bars. This is insane. I can't believe we're doing this again. Yeah, what happened? Great. Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened? What in the universe happened? What in the pineapple on pizza happened? How much do you already know? Nothing. We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room in Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room, and that some witnesses heard a gunshot. Then you're well informed. And there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. This is literally the Miles Edgeworth case. But the gunshot, obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. It would be helpful. After all, you're not representing me. He is going to need a lawyer, though. Yeah, who is defending you? Who's going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Huh. I'm undefeated. Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not. I assure you, no defense lawyer would want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. Barge. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things have come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. Was the killer the guy, like the warden, maybe? What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. You stooped your little friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. Which, one of y'all let me know in the comments, like, he's based on a real guy who also hated Britain. So, that's kind of fun. So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now. He is. Come on, you gotta let me represent you. Come on. Unless Cosmo's gonna do it. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. But I'm losing my patience with you. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. Detain? I was wondering, Lord Van Zeeks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one. What? Don't look at me like that. You got trauma. Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you. Stop calling me words! I don't care if it's not technically whatever, it still feels wrong. He's got issues. Probably has daddy issues, let's be real. But please. I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us, chasm, is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zeeks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Alright. Fine. Fine. Turd. I knew he wasn't going to let us represent him. Because he's a turd. I'm so sad. I don't even like him that much, but like, he was always eating his little food. Next video, we'll eat some food in honor of him. Although you saw what happened when I ate popcorn. It's like all you could hear in the mic. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented room is where it all happened? So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere. Oi! What do you think you're doing there? Every one of them doors has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath it all. I want the space above the ceiling checked. And don't forget to look inside the chimney stack, too. Blimey! Ain't you never got a house looking for Gina's obviously gotten some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you turned up at last? Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes is only just left. You're lucky I missed that. He went prancing around here and there, butting stuff and flicking and all that, so was there scuppered. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah. It didn't stop saying nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Otto. You're a lawyer, right? Yes. Why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help the Reaper bloke, are you? Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. I mean, you looked very guilty, and he was a prosecutor. What do you want from me? Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zeeks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah? Go on then, Otto. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. We should probably talk to her first. Yeah, okay, here we go. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what? After years since I got out of the clink, that's when I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I would never have it. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They said he managed to solve some real tricky case, just like that. He did? Yep. And ever since then, he's started going on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half the case he's working on, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was this legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. He'd take Adolf for that fella, were his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Eh? The boss says that's exactly why he respected the bloke. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in such high regard. He said something else to me, you know. I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after the people what are bad. It did kind of set my mind at ease when he said that. Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently he's been rented from the cove called Hugh Boone. I can't speak. I can't speak today. Hugh Boone. It's sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person, and we haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right? All the lads of the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. There's a little deal here, so no one knew what they're with when themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Soto? Susano? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I'd never even considered that. Nice work, sis! We're actually following the line of a query like that ourselves. You are. If you look around the room, you see there's a few things that hint at it. We should really investigate this place in detail. But first, we're going to talk about this. I see that's where the poor inspector was found over here. Yeah, that's right. I said there was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck the candle tree in the wall. Oh yeah, it's blown out of the candles apart completely. That's weird. Oh, I see. And the gun, he used it on the floor. It's a Reaper's in it. No denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stab me with them big eyes. I'm only saying what I heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever said so. Why are you asking? A bigwig lawman, is it? Katsuma? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under the window there. There were some street sellers outside who had the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anyone outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. The lads of the yard would just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for the grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Alright. Investigation time. What's out that door? No? Alright, what's this? This looks like some sort of notice board or something. And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Mr. Naruto, look! This, you mean, it's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates. Yes, in fact, they're all sorts of documents that only a detective would normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. And this one here! Oh yes, the advertisement you mean. To the Red-Headed League. Again? But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason. What's this? Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of the Inspector Gregson's family members. What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. They are! Look! Mr. Naruhodo, quickly! Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? Of course she's familiar. We met her only this morning. It's Mrs. Vigil. Auntie. This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here? Is he living a double life? To be frank, I don't think I've become more stumped. I'm sorry to say I have no idea either. Oh my goodness. Been missing since yesterday, it seems? Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. Oh! Funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! A bright red hairpiece. And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And in such flame-colored red, too. Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. What in the world? This is a weird crime scene. What's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it, in a way? Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeek's playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. Could have fallen out of somebody's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful, after all, in a way. Weird. Let's look at the gun. This is presumably the murder weapon, then. Oh my! It is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot! No! If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone who might know, I think. Alright. Let's talk to Gina. Let's talk about this first, I think. Okay. What about the wig? We can't talk to you about any of this? What? You mean we can't talk about... Okay, maybe we'll talk to one of the policemen. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Is there anything else I can examine? Anything? What's this? Okay, I guess we'll look at this. An empty fireplace makes the room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather. Or nobody lived here at all, and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. No, that's right. It's one or the other. Anything else in here? Okay. Can we talk to him? Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Sir. Poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. It's different. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed these boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, there was totally blocked up with bricks. This one at least has some light. You could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Excuse me. If you're looking down at us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry, we'll look after the things of the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. I don't know what else to talk about. Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see things, sir. Too many tears, sir. Oh, poor baby. Oh, poor baby. Okay, we don't have too much more to look at. So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right. The rope is still laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. And would probably be under Dr. Sei's scalpel by now if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. He was sleeping. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Nanowrimo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that bloodstain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can even be even worse than reality. That's so true. Sisoto's not as strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am. Okay, right up with that. Okay, I think this is the last thing we need to look at. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely broken off. Yes, there's wax splattered on the bulb. Behind, look! I suppose if it's a bullet that hit it. It does seem likely the bullet to hit the candle. Having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh, now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. What else do we have to talk about? No? We can't present any of this stuff? What about the toy? She won't talk to us about anything. Okay. Can we move? Okay, so we're done here. Okay, so we're supposed to come back here. I love that they tell me where to go. Because I get really confused. I'm a little slow for this. Alright, guys. You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. Who's talking? I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. No! I'm not ready now. I'm not ready. Is everything in place? He's gonna be the... He's gonna be the prosecutor. I'm calling it now. What is the last case gonna be? There's still another case after this. I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I want him to have his anime voice. I don't care if he's evil now. It's Katsuma-sama. Come on, talk to us. Huh, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. You don't believe it. You set him up. I bet you did it. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson. I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not! It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Katsuma. Bro, my face is in the way again. This is him. I can't. I don't know where to put my face because they're always right under me. Okay, it's fine. I cut off the circle a little bit. Maybe that'll be better. Huh, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? This man is evil! Mr. Oski here will present in tomorrow's proceedings. I knew it! I knew it! Leading the prosecution. I knew it! I called it! Wait. What? Katsuma. As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Katsuma-sama, A prosecutor? Yo! Okay. Let's just work our way down the list, okay? At least he's standing on this side now, so I don't have to move my face around. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in the trial prosecuted by the Reaper and the Bailey, and now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters, and you said he wasn't involved either. And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true, or it has been at least until now. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Yeah, let's talk about you, mister. So Katsuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? I call that. That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Stormheart. I don't like how he's looking at me. I have been grieving this man's death for like 8 cases. And now he's here. And he's a prosecutor. And I'm not okay. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And I imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. I've no doubt at all that Katsuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Katsuma-sama? There's surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Don't look at me like that. You went missing for a year and made me think you were dead. Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm surprised such personal requests would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact. You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. Huh. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as a judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution? Hurry, Nasaki. Let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months. Katsuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. No! Okay. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruto. Be direct. Well, I'm really peeved. Because Katsuma's being a little not good. He's being a pineapple on pizza. That's what he's being. He doesn't belong here. It's certainly a model that's issued to all personal involvements in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually belong to the victim. No, Gregson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Van Zeek's? He claims it's currently not in his possession. What? According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zeek's. Can we talk to this man? Alright, dude. You got some explaining to do. Come here. I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but he'll be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. Including what I was coming here to do. Right. Katsuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was the voice. This past year. I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm sorry for what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. But why? It doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart, for tearing my heart out. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our empire's history. There is much you could learn from the public gallery. What is that supposed to mean? Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Stop talking! Before you go, Ryunosuke. I don't know why I'm talking like this. He's driving me crazy. I'm so mad right now. What is going on? Oh, what is it? I just wanted to thank you. Katsuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. And it was your dream, and Mr. Naruto didn't want that to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. Oh? Actually, I have a favor to ask. Which is? This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel. Why? What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Van Zeeks would never put his fate in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. That's... Oh no! That's Lord Van Zeeks and Inspector Gregson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the looks of it. Is that his brother? Yeah. Definitely his brother. It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's office, you mean? Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight-talking makes him take a different view. Take it. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? I'm gonna cry. Bye.
Ugh, you guys are being difficult. You're just evil people. Lord Van Zeeks is still reading that letter. Probably just been sitting here reading it over and over again. You've been gone quite some time, though. Yeah, he's definitely just reading it over and over and over again, you know, like you do. Okay. Either he's an incredibly slow reader or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. Hi, bestie! I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such insulting Japanese. Oh, sorry. So sorry to speak my language. Gosh. I didn't think you'd hear that. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So have you found a lawyer? How many times have I to reiterate the same thing? This is nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided. I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is. It's going to be Katsuma Asagi. Asagi? That made the color drain from his face. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. We'll start with the photo. Lord Van Zeeks, we came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? He's so little, so precious. It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know? Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we've heard someone attest to that very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time when things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. I feel as though I got a glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey. Not to mention a racist. Alright, converse. What you got for me? 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of the prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asagi. Ken Shinoseki was Katsuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprentices Katsuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew the young man's true identity from the outset. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Katsuma recovered his amnesia. From his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Asagi. That name is the very epitome of my bane.
The bane that is you lot. Esteemed visitors for the Far East. Right, your hatred of all of us Japanese. It's very healthy, yes. Alright. Let's get into it. I'd only just have been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of the prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer, the so-called professor. Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from the Scotland Yard, and that was Genshin. Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. I don't think he did it. What is that music? Ah! So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted in Asagi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord Mael Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Is he the true Reaper of the Bailey? Suspicious. That's all I have to say. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I've felt indebted. He is in charge of this Reaper of the Bailey stuff. But some of it is coincidence, so I don't know. I'm sure you must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? Ah, and of all things, as a lawyer. It's one word. It's one word. Therapy. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why now that I know the history. Except that you have how many serial killers in London, but one of them happened to be Japanese, and you're just like, meh, 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 meh. But in the same way that I've felt that the Japanese to be the bane of my life. To Katsuma Asagi, I am the bane of his, the Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. I didn't even think about that. Is that true? Katsuma's being very interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about the direction of this character, but anyway. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean. It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh! The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. It sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. Bro. Wait. I still don't think that the guy they found is the guilty one. I don't know what it is. It's like this deep feeling that they're gonna like pull the rug out from under me and be like, it It was actually the dude, the evil dude. The guy who's like making Katsuma's evil slave right now. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Not the autopsy report! Anything but an autopsy report! Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time, and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determine it was necessary. His powerful convictions somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. Bro, I'm telling you, his boss planted evidence on the brother to make the Japanese student look guilty, and it was him. Boom. Case solved. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. Inspector Gregson. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart. Yeah, Lord Strongheart. He is 100% the Reaper. He is the real killer. So he was the professor. He planted evidence on that body for the autopsy report, and he was like more than happy to let this guy prosecute so that he could do his whole Reaper of the Bailey shtick. Why? Don't know. Evidence? I have feelings, and my feelings are correct. Anyway, my neurodivergency is working overtime on this one. Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. Does Katsuma have it? When did you lose it then? Nah, Katsuma doesn't have it. He's not that bad. Lord Strongheart probably has it. That I don't know. Oh? I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. You have something in common with Lord Van Zeeks after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. I love her! No. This has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this esteemed visitor from the Japanese land. Oh dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. I bet we're gonna find the gun in the guy's office. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh? That's the first time he's ever used my actual name. That's so sad. Yes, my learned friend. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zeeks? From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Japanese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Osagi. No wonder he hates me so much. That's true. No, it's definitely not him. It is 100% his boss that was the killer. I will stand by that. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Back then, I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked to further with hope. I looked to the future with hope. Since then, I protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire in which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? I'll think about it. Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo. Then my life is in your hands. Yes, 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 yes. I'm back. I'm good. I'm down. I'm cool. I'm jiggly. For Lord Van Zeeks. That must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend Katsumo. I need to know what his deal is. Why did he suddenly say, yes, I'm gonna be a prosecutor? I can't believe they actually had him have amnesia. What kind of stupid... Alright, I'll see you next time. I gotta think about this for a long time. But I'll see you in court next time against my best friend. Defending a man who hates me simply for the color of my skin and not the content of my character.